She didn't kill with claws, she killed with desire. Greetings, seekers of the unseen. Welcome to Myth or Real, where we unravel the threads between legend and the human soul. Tonight, we descend into the liminal spaces, the crossroads where light fractures into shadow to meet a creature, both grotesque and beguiling. Empusa, the shape-shifting daughter of darkness. Buckle your mind. What unfolds is not merely a tale, but a mirror. For those new to our odyssey, I am your guide. Myth or Real. This channel is a sanctuary for those who dare to ask, do myths whisper truths older than time? Are monsters born or made? If you hunger for stories that claw at the veil of reality, subscribe. The labyrinth goes deeper than you think. Empusa, a name that hisses through ancient texts like smoke. To the Greeks, she was a spectral seductress, a demon of crossroads, and a parable of fear itself. But beneath her mythos lies a question: is evil a force or a choice? Let us wander her path, from divine origins to whispered oblivion. Origins, daughter of Hecate, child of paradox. Empusa's tale begins not in the underworld, but in the twilight realm of Hecate, goddess of magic, ghosts, and the liminal. Born of darkness and divine blood, Empusa inherited her mother's dominion over thresholds, doorways, crossroads, moments between breath and death. Yet hers was a fractured birthright. Lesser-known detail: Empusa's lineage is debated. Some hymns name her sibling to the Mormal Lycia, ghouls who nursed the dead. Others claim she was crafted by Hecate as a punishment with a face, a lesson to mortals who dared defy the gods. Her duality was literal: one leg of shimmering brass, the other a donkey's hoof, symbolizing the clash between allure and bestiality. What does it mean to be born a paradox? Empusa's body, half divine, half monstrous, mirrors the human tension between aspiration and instinct. Are we not all shapeshifters, hiding beasts beneath skin? The seductress and the feast. Empusa's role was precise. She haunted lonely roads, appearing as a beautiful maiden or a lavish feast to starved travelers. Those who succumbed would glimpse her true form: a vampiric horror with flaming hair and serrated teeth, before she devoured their flesh. Empusa did not merely kill, she unmade. Victims' souls were said to linger as larvae, restless spirits, trapped in the crossroads. In this, she mirrored Hecate's role as psychopomp, but inverted. Instead of guiding souls, she imprisoned them. Is predation a form of power or powerlessness? Empusa's hunger was insatiable, a void no feast could fill. Does the monster too ache? Encounters, heroes, fools, and the cunning. Empusa's legend intertwines with mortal defiance. In Aristophanes' The Frogs, she terrorizes Dionysus, who deflects her with torchlight and absurdity, a rare comedic take on fear. Philosopher Apollonius of Tyana allegedly exposed her by demanding she confess her nature. Proving truth could shatter illusion. Lesser-known detail: some cults worshipped Empusa as a protector. Offerings of honey and garlic were left at crossroads to appease her, blending fear and reverence. To these devotees, she was both destroyer and guardian, a reminder that darkness demands respect. Act 4. The Silence, where myths fade. Empusa's end is not recorded. Did she vanish with the rise of Christianity, labeled a mere demon? Or does she linger, adapting her form, a shadow in the alley, a stranger's too perfect smile online? Myths do not die, they evolve. Empusa's legacy is the primal terror of the uncanny, the fear that what we desire might consume us. She is the click in the dark, the doubt in a lover's eye. She is the question: what masks do you wear? The psychology of the beast, Empusa as the shadow self. Empusa's duality transcends her physical form. She embodies Carl Jung's concept of the shadow, the repressed, primal aspects of the psyche we deny. Her transformations reflect humanity's own refusal to confront its darkness. To face Empusa was to face the self. In fragments of Orphic hymns, Empusa is called Phosma, apparition, a title shared with ghosts of the unburied. This links her not just to fear, but to guilt, the haunting of unresolved sins. She thrived where secrets festered. Crossroads, a metaphor for moral choices. Why do we fear shapeshifters? Because they mirror our own fluid identities. Empusa's victims were not killed by her claws, but by their desire. She weaponized longing, revealing the peril of surrendering to temptation without scrutiny. In a world of curated personas and digital avatars, are we not all Empusas? The metamorphosis of a myth, from demon to archetype. As Greek paganism faded, Empusa's essence seeped into new traditions. Byzantine scholars demonized her as a succubus, blaming her for nocturnal terrors and corrupted dreams. Slavic folklore adopted her as Mara, a night spirit straddling sleep and death. Modern occultists reimagined her as a patroness of queer identity, a symbol of transformation and defiance against rigid norms. In 19th century Greece, peasants whispered that Empusa's spirit inhabited will-o'-the-wisps marsh, lights that lured travelers to drown. This evolution stripped her of form, reducing her to a metaphor for self-destructive curiosity. Myths are palimpsests. Each era overwrites them, yet the core remains. Empusa's immortality lies in her adaptability. She is no longer a monster, but an idea, the danger of the unknown, the cost of desire. Empusa in art, the grotesque as sublime asterisk. Artists have long grappled with her paradox. Renaissance woodcuts depicted her with a serpent's tail, conflating her with Lilith. Romantic poets like Keats alluded to her in odes to beauty that bites. Surrealist painter Remedios Varo painted her as a clockwork siren, gears grinding beneath a porcelain face, a critique of society's mechanization of femininity. A lost play by Sophocles, Empusa, allegedly cast her as a tragic figure. Fragments suggest she lamented her fate, cursing Hecate for making her a weapon without a wielder. This humanization contradicts her demonic role, hinting at ancient debates about free will. Philosophical interlude. Can a monster be pitted? If Empusa's violence was ordained by divinity, is she evil or enslaved? Her myth forces us to ask, does accountability vanish if one's nature is programmed? The feminist reclamation, monster or martyr? Modern scholars dissect Empusa's gendered symbolism. As a female demon, she personifies patriarchal fears of female autonomy. Her seduction reflects anxiety over women's sexuality. Her donkey hoof, an animal associated with lust, demonizes primal femininity. Even her flaming hair evokes Medusa, another vilified goddess turned Gorgon. In Thessalian witchcraft traditions, Empusa was invoked in rites of empowerment. Women would dance at crossroads under the new moon, chanting, "Empusa, lend me your skin. Tonight, I wear the teeth." Here, she was not a foe, but a fierce ally. Monsterhood is often a label imposed by the powerful. Empusa's vilification may be less about her actions and more about silencing what she represents, untamed femininity. To reclaim her is to ask, who decides what is monstrous? The modern Empusa, digital phantoms, and existential fears. Today, Empusa's spirit thrives in pixels. She is the catfish fabricating identities online, the deepfake eroding truth, the algorithm curating addictive illusions. Her domain is no longer crossroads, but the liminal space between reality and virtuality. In 2017, a viral Reddit thread documented Empusa encounters in VR chat rooms, users describing avatars with glitching limbs and hollow eyes who whispered. Ancient Greek. Skeptics called it code malfunctions. Believers called it haunting. Technology has not banished myths. It has amplified them. Empusa's evolution warns us, the more we crave connection, the more vulnerable we become to predatory illusions. Are we the travelers or the feast? Confronting the mirror, rituals of resistance. How did ancient cultures protect themselves? Garlic and iron, crossroads offerings. Disrupted her magic, garlic repelled spirits. Iron severed psychic bonds. The power of laughter in the frogs. Dionysus defeats Empusa with absurdity, proving mockery disarms fear. Truth as a weapon. Philosophers like Apollonius used logic to unmask her, foreshadowing modern critical thinking. A 2nd century Greco-Egyptian papyrus prescribes a chant to banish Empusa. I know your name. I know your mother. Return to twilight. I am no one's son. The spell implies vulnerability. Myths crumble when their mystique is stripped. To defeat a monster, one must first name it. Empusa's power wanes when we confront our complicity in her illusions. The greatest armor is self-awareness. If this journey through Empusa's ever-shifting legend has unsettled, enlightened, or mirrored your hidden self, leave a like. It tells us to keep unraveling the thread. Subscribe to join a fellowship of seekers. Now, whisper to the shadows. Who is your Empusa? A lover who lied? A dream that devoured? A version of yourself you dare not name? The comment section is a confessional. Speak freely. Farewell. As the veil between myth and mind trembles, remember, Empusa is not out there. She is in here. Guard your crossroads wisely. Until next time, stay curious, but never unguarded. This is Myth or Real, fading into the mist.